I think to truly appreciate who we were, we need to evaluate how we got here and who we are now. In a more fancier way, to cherish the past, it's important for us to look at the present. A lot of the games I've enjoyed recently each have certain aspects of the games that I miss as a teenager. But they also let me know where I've got this love for gaming from. I know what games I take inspiration from, soundtracks I listen to on a daily basis, games I wish I could delete from my brain and play again. The games I play today remind me of the games I've played before. So let me introduce you to each of these I've played recently. And a big alert here, there are going to be spoilers, but not in the sense of like an IGN review. It's going to be more of little pieces that might or might not be very important. But also I'm going to talk like you know a little bit about what's going on inside these games. If you want to ever play one of these games, please skip over a portion. I'm not going to be mad. Hopefully the timestamps on this video work properly.
Launch codes, dude.
Yo, what the dog doing though?
You're seeing your POV right now.
Wait, that was my POV until now.
Yeah. You baka?
What?
Okay, so
What?
did he literally just download your brain?
Launch codes.
Yo, this is me when I stare at the computer for too long.
Yeah, this is me clutching invalid.
Outer Wilds is a game about the days you spend staring into the night sky. Looking far beyond where you are into a world full of unknowns and possibilities, you wonder. Outer Wilds allows you to live out this dream, exploring a vibrant solar system full of secrets you can't find in one lifetime. But don't worry, after 22 minutes you'll return back, ready to live out another life and another dream, but with less ambiguity and more knowledge. These time loops slowly fade away the wonder and the fascination of the stars you've gazed up above hundreds of times. And it's fair, you've explored every single cloud, planet, star, comet, so what else is there to find? The answer is nothing. Once you've understood every single planet, how it rotates, its use, and the secrets of the universe, there is nothing for you to discover anymore. And now it's time to write your own story, for others to discover themselves. Outer Wilds is more of a walking simulator than a game, and this I mean it in the best way possible. You are never the real protagonist, you observe. You watch Brittle Hollow orbit around the sun, slowly cracking under the pull of its black hole core. You go underwater in Giant's Deep and get pulled around by the currents, looking at the jellyfish float further below you. You land at the Hourglass Twins and let the sand slowly drift into its sister planet and maybe also get carried away with it. You did not create these buildings, a civilization way before you created all of this before you were born. Nothing is uncharted land. You're only following in someone else's footsteps. Following in a trail left behind thousands of years ago is lonely, and this game is extremely lonely. Lonely in the sense that you only have yourself and your ship. Lonely in that most of the times you die stranded and clueless in an alien planet without any company. Lonely in the sense that you have the world to yourself, but no one else to share it with. In that sense, Outer Worlds is that feeling, the lump in your chest when you lay down to watch the stars float by, reminiscing the first moment you ever gaze into these bright lights in the sky you'll never see close up. That feeling of being excluded from a story you can't ever be a part in. That's Outer Wilds. In a lighter note, here's a fun game that doesn't get you in existential dread. Factorio. Factorio is my go-to fix for my addiction to the puzzle genre. I've always been fond of creating puzzles, crosswords, sudokus, word searches, you name them. The main source of my fondness comes from how mind-boggling it is for you to solve a hard puzzle. But then to create that puzzle yourself without it being unfair or impossible is an impossible feat itself. In my mind, there are two ways you can build a puzzle. One naive approach is to create that puzzle ground up by yourself. And obviously, this is how most puzzles are made. The problem is that it requires quite a lot of intellect and creativity, which I don't have. Also, difficulty becomes an issue if you're trying to appeal to every possible audience. So the second, clever approach. Make the player create their puzzle themselves. If traditional puzzles hand me some IKEA furniture to assemble, Factorio throws me a handsaw and leads me to a grove. I don't know why Factorio is so addicting. To a newcomer, the gameplay will look either boring or cryptic, but I will say this. Your enjoyment will depend on how you approach this game. Unlike most games you find, Factorio is a very open-ended puzzler with a linear progression and highly focused goal to reach. Sounds contradictory, but I'll try to explain. You're given a miner, smelter, some iron, and a planet to explore. With these basic tools, you're told that your goal is to launch a rocket to space. So you get going, placing down miners and smelters to get some basic materials, which leads to steam power for better mining, which means more items to move using belts and these robot arms, assemblers to craft for you, and laboratories to research better technology. Cool, you got something going. Oh, but you're gonna need this green thing now, which means you need more iron and copper, so more miners and power, but power means more coal, so more miners and more power. Then you use the more iron and copper to smelt into plates, so more coal and smelters, and then those plates into assemblers, into more sprawling belts and arms and machines in and out until you get those precious items into the lab. But now you're creating attention from the bug-like monsters, so you need to defend yourself using turrets and ammo, so you make more machines to make ammo, which means you need a lot more power and iron and smelters and on and on and on. There's a lot to do in Factorio, because the game is about managing an ever-growing factory. Although you only have one goal, to launch that rocket into space, to get there you need to solve a chain of problems that depend on your ability to think laterally and get creative. Factorio doesn't give you the clue to 5 across. It asks you to make that clue to fit the answer for 5 across. Factorio isn't about building an answer to a puzzle, it's about creating your own puzzle that builds the solution. The people who's made the Sudokus I've solved for, or the crosswords I've filled in, probably feel the same way I do when I play Factorio. This is a game that teaches you how to learn, how to solve problems no one else has, because every situation you come across is never exactly the same to anyone else that's ever played Factorio. And the gratification that comes from learning, I can't get enough of it. If Factorio is a game about open-ended problems, Celeste is a game about simple yes or no questions. You know the famous Einstein's puzzle, where it has a bunch of statements, and you need to figure out everyone's house color, their house order, their favorite cigarette brand, pet, and their ethnicity. Imagine the board you used to solve that, and it was applied to a game. You know, before I thought platformers were either like this.
In fact, the whole New Super Mario Bros. Wii experience feels like a game that just plays it safe, almost to the point of being lazy.
Or like this, and Celeste proved me wrong. I like to think that Celeste acts less like a precision platformer, although definitely its main mechanics are one, and more like a triathlon. You need skill, you need endurance to power through, and also a bit of street smarts to save energy and beat your opponents. Celeste has these moments when you've ran through half of the course and gone right over the part you were stuck in forever, and in mid-air, you need to decide and figure out how to get to the end. That requires you to know what you can and can't do. And most of the times, you'll fail, probably falling to death or dashing into some spikes with that glimmer of hope and a conviction to finish the level. Just give me one more try. In some cases, you'll get over it, smoothly and feel like a complete genius for slithering your way out of a sticky situation. Dying isn't a huge setback because Celeste is pretty forgiving with its checkpoints. Dying is more of a learning experience, either doing something completely wrong and finding the correct move, or micro-adjusting each and every dash, or even just flopping a key press and telling yourself to focus just a little bit more there. It's a game that teaches you success and progress comes with failure, that sometimes you need to keep pushing through until you get over with that one speed bump for you to blast your way down to the finish line. Swim and bike and run. No matter how hard and forgiving it may be, Celeste tells you that you can do it. On the other hand, Witness felt like a breath of fresh air from the start of my venture into its bustling world of pastel-colored nature. The world building is amazing. It's abstract but so detailed. The game keeps giving you surprises after surprises with its scenery it provides. You go from a desert temple to a logging site, then a dank swamp and its medieval castle nearby. The overload of your visual sense is accompanied by slower-paced, methodical puzzles, and these puzzles can overload your mind. It requires you to think creatively. Think outside of the box. Sometimes visually, or physically, or audibly, or maybe like scenically, if that's a word. I know The Witness sells itself as a puzzle game, but the more I played this game, the more I felt like there was much more to it than the simple-looking line puzzles. Joseph Anderson, in his very high-quality review of The Witness, brings up a fair point. Most of the gimmicks in this game doesn't warrant the high price. He says the game could be well enough made to be played on a tablet. And to that I agree and also disagree. I agree that the gimmicks and the puzzles and the find the hidden image thing isn't a good selling point. Understandably, I got this game for free on the Epic Game Store, love you, so I don't know how it feels to pay and play this game. But I know for a fact that I found more in this game than there was on the surface. I don't think my experience could be emulated on a tablet. The almost trance-like relaxation I found while staring at the jungle puzzle and riding the boat around looking at my surroundings, exploring underground tunnels and crashed ships, walking through an empty town looking at the glyphs I thought I would never be able to uncover if I wasn't in front of my monitor, looking carefully and taking my free time to invest into The Witness. I don't think I would have found this much enjoyment in such a quiet and empty game. The ending leads you back to all of the places you've seen, starts to reset every progress you've made, turn off all the panels, close all the doors, and drop you off at the beginning. And this is the moment when you think, shit, did I waste my time? You know that you spent countless hours that can't be brought back, solving and figuring out all of the mechanics and depth the game has to offer. And it deletes all of it without your say. Even when I've sweet-talked all about The Witness, it's not a memorable game. Like I've said before, I found more in The Witness than there was on the surface. To me, Witness felt like a meditative journey, a trip that can happen only once. Every action you took on that island until your final trial and until everything was deleted is now given meaning painted on in hindsight. And because of that, it's given meaning to my time playing it. And now, a quick break. No, I was joking. The small and infrequent rests you get in Hollow Knight is that calm before the storm, and you get to decide the moment when all hell breaks loose. You're going to be running into perilous situations where you dodge enemy attacks, bombs, hidden traps, and Zod. People call Hollow Knight the Dark Souls of Metroidvanias, and I think that's unfair because it never does all of the Dark Souls bullcrap. Hollow Knight treats you like a reader of a book, rather than the main character. Foreshadowing comes before the twists and surprises, never making the game unfairly frustrating. You can feel the attention and the love poured into each and every single room, each little critter, each boss fight, and piece of lore. Exploring is a staple of the Metroidvania genre, yet the game finds a way to make the experience refreshing. While I played the game, certain areas felt so well hidden, I thought, I must be the only person to find this. Obviously a lie, but a very convincing one. And as a final note, the soundtrack. Although I knew that music was important to a game's atmosphere, I never understood it until I played Hollow Knight. All of the orchestral pieces beautifully composed by the magician Christopher Larkin. He must be from another universe because the songs are out of this world. Pun, yeah. If someone asks me what game to play, I would 100% recommend Hollow Knight. It's an experience unlike anything else. I'm very excited for the sequel, Silksong. I really want to have, please, like a little piece or an announcement of that game, like a release date. I have my hopes very low. Okay, last game. Thanks for sticking this far. How about a quick tangent? Have you ever been on a road trip? If you have, you sure know all of the inconveniences that come with a long car ride. Your butt hurts, leg aches, you can't sleep well, the air feels too man-made, but without the AC, the car is scorching. And worst of all, car sickness when you're teetering on the verge of vomiting. Okay, real fun. But also, real fun. Yes, the road eats up hours of your life and bores you to death. It's also the introduction to your destination and the conclusion to your visit. You know what? I realized that your final stop is never the place you remember the most. You know, those gas stations you stopped at to grab a snack, or random rural gift shop everyone decided to drop by and get a little gift, or the sidewalk you rested on because of that fucking car sickness. You remember those the most. Yeah, the climax of each story is exciting and crazy, but nothing hits harder than looking back at your story and seeing how it all started. Imagine those emotions, those memories, and you put it all into a game. Maybe a little bit over the top introduction to a game called Euro Truck Simulator 2. I know. The game is about relaxing, putting aside your worries and life's challenges and just having a drive. The rides through the country roads with the rains hitting my front window, or passing through long tunnels in the night as the streetlights flash by on the dashboard. Truck sims have some of the best atmosphere I've felt in a game. I may be biased. Obviously, a game like this isn't going to be in everyone's interest. But if you've gone in long road trips, lasting days, and you loved that glaring hot sun coming through the window as you nod asleep leaning on the seatbelt, this game is an adorable recreation of those memories. There's one game that's hugely impacted my life since I've ever dipped my toes into it. It's a game you've probably heard of, and it's called Minecraft. And I'm going to be leaving this video for the next time we meet. So, thank you for watching. Stay tuned.